Wade Forster released his first album, The Beginning, in 2022 and in 2024 won Toyota Star Maker. This year he has played sold out shows in the USA, released the EP The Drifter earlier this year, and he has a second album, Gooseneck Party, out on the 24th of October. And he's already sold out several dates of his upcoming Australian tour. So if you're in one of those cities where he's sold out, too bad, you'll have to catch him next time. Hello, Wade.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And I'm such a fan of I was a huge fan of the Drifter when you released it, and I thought I need to go back and listen to this first album. Your first album has the only song I can think of in existence with the word Panadol in the title, but actually because the song's called Panadol Blues, which I immediately understood on seeing it. But anyway, I'm going to start with the new album, 22 songs, and all of them written by you alone, apart from one written with Alan Caswell and one not written by you. You are prolific.
I love writing songs. What can I say?
So I imagine some of them have been, you wrote them a little while ago, but how long is the span, do you think, of writing the songs for this album?
Oh, geez. Probably I started writing halfway through last year, and yeah, most of these songs are either stories that I've gone through years ago and just jogged in my memory, and now I've got them again. And if not, yeah, I've heard them at a gooseneck party, hence the whole concept of the album. Um, for me, songwriting is a lot easier on my own because I do it a lot different than a lot of other people do. A lot of other people they know what they want to write about, but I always just think about this story and what I was thinking at that time when that happened, you know, and I just keep freestyle on it in my head. I I don't like write down in segments or anything. I sing a line until it works, and then I write that line down, then I keep going. So it does take me a little bit longer than everyone else, but in my consciousness, I feel like I'm getting the right words out because my brain only has so much time to react if I'm freestyling it over the top of the chords.
Right. So when you say you're singing it until you get it right, it's just that, is it sing? So you're singing it till you get like the shape of that phrase right in terms in music and lyrics, or are you more focused on getting the lyrics where you want them to be, and then you might finesse the music?
Lyrics first, lyrics always first. I'm a lyrics guy beyond anything. Like I'm a big fan of Kendrick Lamar and rappers like that for their lyricism and their word choice and stuff. So that sort of helps me get the right word choice out when it comes terms to writing my songs because a lot of people in country will reuse phrases and stuff where I would much rather try and build my own in my way, make it very unique to me. I feel like the feeling of the song is based off of lyrics. A lot of people go listen to the beat and stuff like that, but for me, I'm always listening to lyrics, so that's like number one priority to me.
So I think for me the gateway drug of your music was the song Chemistry.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's so intriguing. It's because, and so I'm so interested to hear you talking about lyrics and your influences like Kendrick Lamar, because the lyrics in that song, sometimes I'm thinking, what does this exactly mean? And then I think I don't actually care. It's just really, it's just really working for me. So
yeah.
I love that idea that you're finding that expression that works for you, and then at a certain point, do you like feel it in your body that it's ready? Do you just think, okay, that's the shape the song will take?
Yeah, okay, that's done. You know, I play it and play it and play it until it works in my head. If it's not working, I take it right back. I take it out to the grinding desk and we'll do it again. And then I'll play it and play it and play it on guitar, just solo by myself until it works. And then I'll go, yep, check, that one's done. Next one. And I'll
Yeah.
just keep doing it. I'll get into a rhythm some weeks there like I can't write as well because I've just got too much going on. Then other weeks there I'll write eight in a week.
Right.
This is just 22 of the better ones. I've still got so much more ready to go. I just got to go and get them done, you know. I've I reckon in the last 2, 3 years I've wrote upwards of 70, 80 songs on my own.
Right. And when you're getting going through that process to get them to where you want them to be, are you recording voice memos as you go, or are you just literally singing over and over until you get it, and then you record something to yourself?
No, I record it the first time I write it and then I'll work it out again, keep playing it. and then when I finally got the version, I might, add a few guitar things in there, and then I'll go, yep, that's the version, and then I'll record that.
Mhm.
So there's always like a first version of the way I want it to sound. That's the way I wrote it, and then I'll do it the way I want it recorded. So there's two versions, sort of thing. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll use both references, but a lot of the time it's the last reference that I use.
So you mentioned that some of these songs were from stories that you had in your head, and so it sounds to me like from the process you're describing that actually that you literally mean that the stories are sitting in your head. You didn't make any notes at the time. You've just been carrying them with you, almost like they're kind of marinating for a while.
Yeah, yeah. I've lived a hell of a life between playing rugby at school and then leaving school, running away from home to go work cattle and horses. Running away from home by that I mean I was just like, I'm not working for dad. um, I went and was a ringer. I was a horse farrier. I was a tradesman. I was a fridge mechanic, apprentice, rodeo cowboy. Now singer songwriter, country music artist. Pretty pretty long list of things I've done by the age of 27. So I've got a lot of stories and from a lot of different towns.
Yeah, that is a lot of life to fit in to 27 years. And I didn't know a bit of that. I knew about the rodeo riding. And actually, years ago, I did a book with the PBR, which is the Professional Bull Riders Association, because in my daily job, I'm a book publisher, and learnt a lot about, I wouldn't necessarily say the mentality of bull riders so much as the state of being of bull riding. And I would think that there are some similarities with you being a rodeo rider,
Oh
but
yeah.
also I think getting on stage and performing. I think it's that idea that you're prepared to take a high risk for potentially no reward, like ending up in the dirt and getting hurt. But I'm wondering if you do think rodeo riding has fed into you being a performer.
Oh, 100%. Anyone that's seen me backstage or side stage before I go on, I get mongrel. I start stretching out and getting low and making sure the blood's flowing in my legs. I slap my legs. I pumping my arms. I get near psycho. I treat it the same as rodeo. I try to get all the blood flowing in my body before I go out there so I can give everyone 110% because I was once a tradesman and I used to work big money to go see someone I liked or something. So I don't want to leave them empty-handed. That's why I got that mentality. And it's perfect that the music industry and the rodeo industry are nearly the same type of family-based industries
Hmm.
where, like, for a good example, in rodeo, you would have seen it heaps of times, like at the PBR per se, like um, cowboys will travel around with each other and then compete
Mm.
against each other, but they've
Mm.
never got any malice against each other because they're like, oh yeah, go out there and I'm leading it, but go out there, you got a good bull, come on, put a score on, and then when they beat you, you're like, yeah, yeah, it's a camaraderie thing. It's never mate versus mate. It's mate versus the stock, and it's the same in music. Like me and Lane Pittman have that same mentality where, we're sort of competing for the same thing. But me and Lane, every time we're on festival together, you need anything, I'll help you. I got you. It's always been like that. There's no bickering, that person's got, more hits than me or this, that, they're on a later slot. It's like, nah, let's go and do it. Let's go put a show on. And it's always been like that with me and Lane, and that's that rodeo camaraderie. It keeps it pretty cool and tight knit for me. It's been a easy transaction to come from
Right.
rodeo to music. With
Yeah.
that being in said, like,
Yeah. It's I think friendly rivalries are the best rivalries for everyone involved because it's the sort of relationship you're describing, but also it's that interesting thing of really wanting the other person to do well and get better, and then you have to come and meet them and then try to get better than them, and then everyone does win, especially the audience, I think.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And like that's how I take it all the time with music because a lot of people would sit there and bicker about it, but for me, I'm like, no, they did a good thing. Good on them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, not. I'm not upset about it at all. Like, that's what life is. People, will be better than you at some point, or you'll be better than them. And you
Yeah.
shouldn't be like, well, bickering about it. You should be like, hell yeah,
Yeah.
just right. That's the coolest thing ever. Good on them.
Yeah, I love it. Love the mentality and totally subscribe to it. Now, I should have asked you at the top for the uninitiated, what is a gooseneck party?
It's the most sacred thing to a rodeo cowboy or cowgirl. The bar shuts at a APRA rodeo about 12 o'clock, like in the professional circuit. And, we've been out there all day riding in the rodeo. We want a few more drinks. So you walk back to your camp and there'll be two older cowboys sitting there having a few beers, talking. And all of us young cowboys will sit down there just for one beer and to be able to listen to 3 hours worth of their stories and party with them older fellas, because even the old fellas love to have a gooseneck party. It's a sacred place for people to get anything off their chest that they need to, whether it be stuff at home, stuff at work, you know, love and hate. Competing in the arena it's a safe space for us, and to be able to sing about it is pretty cool. It's like a big honor for me, especially people within the rodeo community that know about Gooseneck Party. They're like, oh yeah, I hope one of my songs made it in one of my stories made it in there.
And I do really like the way you structure this album like a party because you have quite a few songs that are about individuals, and you've actually named those, as in the person's name is in the title of the song. So it is like you're writing short stories about these people. Given that you left a few songs on the cutting room floor temporarily, how did you decide which people were going to get their stories on Gooseneck Party?
I think the biggest thing for me when I was writing songs, I'm like, I I got given the name Gooseneck Party when I did the first album. I was at Mount Isa Rodeo sitting there. It was when the album was about to come out, and I didn't have a name for it still. And it was nearly called Gooseneck Party. But then my mum called it the beginning. She
Right.
said it's the beginning. And I'm like, all right, well, that's the name of it. So I ran back and put it on my computer as the beginning. But in my head, I was like, I need to write about gooseneck parties. And my mate Grant Hanrahan, he gave me that name. And when I came back to it, every song that I wrote, I went through every single one. I'm like, did any of these involve a gooseneck party?
Right.
And these are the 22 that did. Oh, except for Air It Out. I heard that song in America, but I just needed to get that song out.
Well, and that's a song you've recorded with Piper Butcher, who I know you know well. But I was actually trying to work out if you were both at the Academy of Country Music at the same time, which was 2023.
She was an intern
Right.
and I was a student. In fact, I'm sitting at Piper Butcher's house right now.
Oh, right.
I'm in Newcastle on the road. It's funny, yeah. It's funny you say
Well, hello, Piper from me. She's
that.
anyone who doesn't know Piper, she's a fantastic artist. In fact, she supported you in Sydney when I saw you play at the Beer Shed. And now you have some other great artists who have played on this album. You have Brad Bergen on drums, Rusty Crook, James Gillard, keys from Liam Kennedy Clark, fiddle from Luke Moller and Mick Allbeck, and steel from Michelle Rose. And I'm wondering if you were all in the one place at the one time because it was also produced by Simon Johnson, who plays on the album.
No, we weren't all in the one place. I would like to on the next one, definitely, and add a few more instruments. I feel like I definitely want to put some trumpet and stuff in some songs soon.
Okay.
I want to make it real roomy, like not just fiddle. I want string section and stuff like that. So the next album is going to be very, very roomy. But yeah, no, we weren't all in the same place at the same time. I had Brad, I had Rusty, James Gillard, and Simon. We did it all in 1 week, and then the other fellas did it externally. Um, but yeah, 1 week to do that many songs is. I keep going to Simon and telling him I'm going to break your record, and that's the most he's done in a week. So anyone that wants to try and break that record, be my guest, I guess. Um, but yeah, like we were doing like crazy hours, like 8 till 6. We'd
Right.
pump like 4 or 5 songs out a day, and then
Well, and I would think partly why you can do that is that editorial process you described earlier, because basically that's what it is. You were refining the song until you got it to a point that you wanted to record it and you had documented what that was. Now, some of that editorial process could happen in a studio, but I would imagine you just walked in with these things pretty much fully formed.
somewhat. I've got most of the vibe down packed, and I just give it to the boys, and I'm like, so this is the reference, I want it to sound a bit like this with a bit of that and a bit of this, and they go, okay, okay, and then I go outside for a cigarette, and then I come back in, and they're, you ready? I'm ready. let's do it. And that's when I hear it for the first time. And I'm
Yeah,
like, let's
right.
go.
And the sound of you lighting a cigarette can be heard on the track Nicotine Dream, in case anyone's wondering. That's also
Yeah.
factored in. And I was interested also because you released some of these songs like Nicotine Dream and Rodeo Romeo before the Drifter EP came out. Now, the four songs that are on the, or five songs that are on the Drifter EP are not on this album. So that's seemed to me like that was this self-contained storytelling. And even though I think some of them probably could have fit into a gooseneck party, if you like. Obviously, in terms of your storytelling, they were like this little island, and then there are these other songs that have come around to be in the on the album, even if they were released earlier.
Yeah, that was also like my cap to finishing Star Maker sort of thing.
Okay.
That was my way of saying goodbye to Star Maker. Like this was the Cowboys, the 44th Toyota Star Maker over here.
Okay.
And I'm like, and then next minute I just throw the biggest rock at him and go, here's 22 songs of a gooseneck party, you know? Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, Honky Tonk Bulldog and Man, that's definitely a gooseneck party song. That I wrote that about one of my mates called Jake Dudney, and he's prolifically nicknamed on the rodeo circuit as Dudes.
Right.
And Dudes, if he won a rodeo, even if he won a check, he could have been third or fourth money. At 3 o'clock in the morning, he'd be having the party of his life with a toolbox radio on his shoulder with no shirt on and two beers in this hand. And you just have to open the window. You'd be sleeping and you go, yeah, dudes, give him hell, bud. And he'd just be dancing out your window for a little bit and he'd walk to the next one. And I was like, geez, he really is the honky tonk bulldogging man because he could really bulldog. He lives in the States now. I think he's in the Panhandle of Oklahoma doing a few rodeos in the college system over there. And
Right.
I tell him, I said, you need to tell everyone that you're the original honky tonk bulldogging man. He goes, I don't know about all that. And I was like, ah, come on now.
It's one of the best song titles ever, and in fact, I was quite surprised it wasn't on the album because I thought, how could you resist? Probably could have called
Mm.
the album that. But you mentioned the United States. Now, you have just come back from a big US tour, multiple dates, several of them sold out, and I want to acknowledge that you have done this off your own bat. You do not have a record label doing this for you. This is something that this is a following you've generated through your own efforts and through putting out songs that people resonate with. So, it must have been pretty cool to go over
It
there.
was it was a big risk, you know, but risk without reward is something that I've dabbled with a lot. So I was like, you know what, I got one life, I might as well give it a go while the iron's hot. And I went over there and I was pretty overwhelmed. Well, when we first released the tour, Fort Worth sold out in 24 hours,
Yeah.
and we had to put another Fort Worth date on. You know, we sold 15 out of 17 shows on
That
on
is
our
it's phenomenal, mate. It's
on our
great.
first international headline tour. Um, you know, to be able to do that, we got eyes from everyone now, and that's the way we wanted to, when I got into this, I wanted to bring cowboy back. I wanted to be like Chris Ledoux and, them cowboy singers that were still riding and singing at the same time. Yeah, I don't ride as much as I used to because of the road, but when I'm home, I'll be riding. But yeah, to be able to do that and then come back here and put a tour on, hopefully a few Australians might open their eyes to me a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, it's obviously a bit daunting for a dude that doesn't wear an Akubra or, I wear rodeo clothes. That's
Mm.
how I've worn rodeo clothes since I was a kid. I get a few hate comments about people saying, why don't you wear an Akubra or why do you wear all that American stuff? And I was like, well, I grew up rodeo well before I was an Australian, and I'm more Australian than most of the people living in rural Queensland on a cattle station. Like,
But also, yeah, I people I know who work on the land don't tend to wear Cobras. So
no, it's a very 50-50 thing. Like I've got one. I've got an Akuba that I wear when it's raining because they're tough hat and you can't kill them. And my straw obviously would, get a bit damaged in the rain. But I got an Akuba at home, but when I'm on stage, I wear my best hat that I've got, and that's the straw hat.
yeah.
It's not me trying to fit into being an American. some of my songs, like people go, "Oh, Richmond County Line, that's about America." No, where my hometown is of Winton. My cattle station is on the Richmond Shire boundary.
Right.
And when I broke up with my girlfriend, I moved back to that cattle station. So I moved back. I was heading back to the Richmond County Line.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, you made it all about America." I was like, "No, I didn't."
That's your interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But having said that, it is phenomenal that you had so many dates and that you had such a great reception. And now you have already sold out some shows in Australia. There's a multi-date tour coming up. But I'm wondering for the people who did miss out, if you're planning part two of the tour to accommodate those people.
Um, Nothing set in stone yet. I'm probably going to dabble in the States a lot more, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I've done four tours now of Australia of my own,
Hmm.
and if you didn't get tickets the first four times, you might have to wait for the fifth one in a few years. I don't know. I don't know what our plans are. You know what I mean? But for the time being, I think I want to attack it over there. I want to be what they remember as Australia.
Right.
They there's what's the saying? Like they can smell the gum leaves on me. The accent's too strong. I wouldn't be able to be influenced by them even if they tried.
Yeah.
I got that real thick Queensland jargon that a lot of people have up there where I'm from, and yeah, I just want to be the dude that flies the flag. I don't want to be the lead of it. I just want to be the dude that opened the door.
Hmm. Well, you now have a 22 track album and you have an album before that and an EP. These are far too many songs for one set, basically. So, how are you making your decisions about what to play?
Well, it's based off the fans, to be honest. If we go to a show and a heap of people have got signs up that say, we had people with signs up in America, can you play this song? And we put that song in the next night.
Right.
And yeah, not iPhones with the little screen. I'm talking signs like over there. That's what we like to see, big signs. But yeah, it's going to get harder because I've got that many songs wrote. I'm just going to keep releasing more, and who knows? Maybe I'll just press shuffle on a set list, and we'll see which ones he's get.
Well, of course, your poor band has to be prepared to play anything then.
Oh, they know them all. They know them all. My band's good with that. Yeah, yeah.
So, looking ahead just to the start of next year, do you have some plans for the Tamworth Country Music Festival as well?
Yeah, I got a show at the Long Yard Monday from 3 to 5 p.m. afternoon slot. Nothing like a Monday beer, so I thought I'd get in early. And yeah, we got a ticketed show there, and it's almost nearly sold out too, so which is crazy. We got a heap of these dates in Australia sold out plus Tamworth, but that's the only I got that. I think I'm gonna pop up a few other places, but I can't really say that either. Um, but yeah, that's the big ticketed show, and hopefully I'm going to the Golden Guitars or walking out of the Golden Guitars with a good handful of them, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yes, you will see. Well, I think this is an encouragement for anyone who does not yet have a ticket for your tour to go and get one. The album is fantastic. It is this whole sweep of a gooseneck party, but there are the small stories throughout, which mean you can really attach to individual tales and take some of them to your heart and relate to some of them. So, congratulations, Wade. It's a fantastic album. Great to talk to you. Thanks for your time.
Nah, thanks, Sophie. I appreciate it.